How you doing, my peeps? Welcome. Hope everyone is doing well in this coronavirus times, so we can't go out and do stuff. So I've decided to do some live streaming. I haven't done it in a while, and obviously I got something cool to live stream about. I'm going to be racing in FPV. Racing these cars in FPV. They're 143rd cars, thank you. 143rd cars, and I have several types. You can probably see here. 4 types of cars, and I'm gonna be checking lockdown hype. I'm gonna be checking how each of them behave in FPV. So before I go into my enormous track, which is actually upstairs in my loft, I've been using the time at night to build some stuff, and I'm gonna be showing you now. Before I start that, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about the cars that I'm gonna be racing. So first of all, the stock cars have not been modified except from putting FPV. And then these are 2 of the cars, and then the other 2 are a complete design from absolute scratch into what you're gonna see now. First of all, we have this. This is a Siku. I don't know if you've ever seen this brand. It's called Siku Racing, and it's pretty well known. But this is all but an RC car. So use a regular type of remote control with this, but I've made a few modifications to the remote control. So actually I'm going to be driving this with an actual steering wheel, and I modified the the trigger to pedals in the steering wheel. So the steering wheel has pedals on it, so when I push one of the pedals, actually the car goes, and if I push the other one, it goes backwards. It's completely RC, so it goes as fast as it goes, but with this new setup that I've made, it makes it a little bit better to control. And the FPV camera, as you notice, there's no FPV on it, it's just like a regular car. So I made a little backpack FPV camera, there you go, and that just goes on top of the car like that. And that's it. Now you have an FPV Siku racing car. So the next car, a very interesting one. It's a drift car, and this drift car by a company called Drift with an exclamation mark instead of an I. So this drift car has something in particular, and that something is that you see the wheels. The wheels are free floating. They're even on they just touch the ground. Same with the back one. So the interesting thing is that you see that crown wheel in the bottom of the car. That's what actually makes the car go around, and the crown wheel in the middle turns left and right, and then basically that imitates the car drifting or racing. So the crown wheel can be going like that way, so you're gonna be going sideways. And obviously this is all maintained by an app. For iPhone and for for iPhone and for Android devices. This is all maintained by an app that manages all the drifting characteristics, engine sounds, and all that. And as I race, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. But there's quite a few things. It's very realistic in driving, and you can see that the FPV is already mounted there in front. And I put an extra battery inside just for the FPV. And there's a little switch here that I can use to turn the FPV on or off. So you don't see it now, but the FPV, you can see a little blue light shining in there. That's the FPV on. And then I can turn the switch off. Once I get an idea and I know what I want, I will completely redesign something into something that I want to do. And that's where the next car is coming. And this is my own homebrew, and I call it Race. It has 3 and 4s on it. Very hipster like. You'll see the logo while I'm running. So this car that you see right here is fully 3D printed. Like every single part of this car is 3D printed. With the exception of the wheels and the electronics as well. But actually, there's other versions of this car that are like completely 3D printed, even the wheels. It runs amazingly, and if you look here in the back, there we go. See that little gear there? That's the secret. It has a little servo, a disassembled servo inside, and that's what makes it run. And then actually it uses two servos. It uses a 9-gram disassembled servo in order to power the back wheels, and then he uses a 2.2 gram servo, like a very tiny little servo in the front here. You can't really see it, to steer the front wheels. So all wheels are on the ground. They're working. It works exactly like an RC car, but the different thing in this car is that, number one, you right there, you could control this through the internet and drive in my racetrack. Like it's connected. It's RC. Everything inside of this is RC. It has an RC receiver inside this, but the thing that's controlling that RC is able to connect to the internet. So through proxy, you connect to the remote control that's connected to this car, and then you drive this car in my track. And I've tried it with several people online, and it seems to work pretty good. Like even the lag is quite sustainable, and obviously the lag is gonna what's gonna matter is how fast my connection is and how fast their connection is. So if I'm downloading something or watching 10 Netflix episodes, probably the experience is going to be a bit worse. But if my whole internet is fine with no issues, and the other side's internet is fine with no issues, like we've noticed, we even have people flying drones here in my house, and that's not a very easy thing to do in such a constricted space as it is. The last one that I have is this one. And this is something very, very special, because everything that you've seen until now, the Siku racing, the drift car, the race car, they're all analog video. But this one isn't analog video. This is HD. Well, HD, like with a... It's not exactly per se HD. The image quality is better than analog, but it's not like fully digital, because actually the thing controlling this one is not as powerful as it could be in order to process that amount of video if the video has a super quality. And again, I'll show you this as I'm racing around, and I'll show you all the differences that there are in changing video in this car. The cool thing about this is that because the video is sent through Wi-Fi, so see it has a little camera there, except it's connected to a little board inside of the car. It's an ESP32 cam, and that processes both the control and the video in one simple location. So for all the other ones, for example, if someone wants to race this race car with me, I would have to share my video over Discord so they can see the video, and then they would connect to a web page where they can use the steering wheel to turn around, right? But with this, because it basically creates the same thing, creates a little website, but as everything is controlled directly from the car. So it creates a little website for the car that has the controls and the video directly on the website. So you just open up a website and you have everything there. You don't need to any Discord, any weird other stuff. Yeah. All right. So those are all the cars. We're gonna go to the cool stuff now, which is gonna be the racing, obviously. Slowly but surely. So I'm using the steering wheel to maneuver it in the track, and you can see already sometimes it goes a little bit too fast. So this is the start-finish line. I'm going to do about 3 laps and comment as I go through, just to get my feelings from the car. I haven't driven this car too much, to be honest. Just because of the way it drives, it's a little bit gimmicky in the turning and acceleration, as you're gonna notice in just a second. But here we go. All right, so I'm using the gentlest amount of force in the throttle to go around the track, and you can see it's already like, I feel is going like a little bit too fast. Like it's super controllable, but I feel I don't have a lot of control over the throttle. That's one lap. Like turning works quite well. Banged there a little bit. So that's the tube going in the background, if you can hear like some weird stuff. Oh, a little bashing there. Hope you like my buildings in the track. That's 2 laps. So yeah, so that's not the fastest that the car can go. Like if I push it a little bit more, it can go a little bit faster. But as you can see, like it becomes super unstable, like super hard to drive. I mean, it's still like for a little bit of fun, it's still all right, but it's a little bit. You can feel that it's a little bit gimmicky, especially on the turning. The turning is super exact because the wheels, I think, are rubberized. Is that 3 laps? No, the wheels are rubberized, so that means that the car is gonna get like a lot of grip into the floor, and it's always gonna go wherever I turn it to. And also it has a suspension. That means that the tires will always be touching the floor. Ooh, a little bash there. All right, 4 laps. I think 4 laps is good. That was the Siku racing that you just saw now, and I mean, it's, if you're just starting, actually the Siku is quite expensive, to be honest. And for the price, I mean, it's a little bit of fun, but I feel it's too fast. Like I don't know why they make these scale RC cars and even like bigger scale this fast. Like I don't think there's a good reason for it. Like I would much prefer that the car would run by scale, but you know, at scale speed. That would mean that I would have, if I'm running in FPV, I would have a lot more control, like driving it around. It doesn't feel like a rat trying to run away from me. So what I'm gonna do next is we're gonna go to the drift car, and the drift car has a couple of cool things on. You can see here there's a little ramp there that goes to the start finish. So I'm gonna see if the drift car is gonna go up that ramp or not. No, you can see that. Oh, is it making it? Almost. Okay, it kind of made it. That's fine. I'll take that as a victory. So I'm gonna bring it back. So one of the things with the drift cars, unfortunately, is that they don't like to touch anything at all because of the crown wheels underneath the car. The way that the crown wheels work is that if they're somehow pointed towards the sides, it's, even though the car looks straight, the crown wheels, if they're pointing to the side, that means that when you're pressing the accelerator, you're actually trying to go further into the barrier, and then you're not going to get out from there. So it's a little bit annoying, but yeah, I mean, I think every system has its pluses and cons. So we're gonna go to the start finish line, and we're gonna go and do 5 laps again. All right. In a second, let me put this speaker here on the right side so you can hear me a little bit better. All right. Oh, so I'm running. Sorry for the train. I'm running what is it? Rally tires, I believe. So you can see, like, I can't get out from here right away. So I have to chrome that barrier until it actually pushes me out at the end. Yeah, so I'm running rally tires, which are the grippiest, or the, you know, the software fakes them as being the grippiest. Ooh. And let me see if I can actually like drift a little bit to the side. Oh dear. Oh, see, the walls. The walls are the bane of the existence of this car. So there is understeering and oversteering that was obviously apparent there as I tried to go a little bit too wide. The problem is then trying to get out of stuff. So with this race mode, that means that the car drifts a lot more, and I can definitely tell that it drifts a lot more. And if I use the handbrake on a turn like here, you can see the little bit of drift happening and a little bit of drift there. But if I don't use the handbrake, then I have to accentuate the turns a lot more. Ugh. And now I'm stuck. So I'm completely turning to the right side, and the car will not get out until it wants to get out. I actually got pretty lucky. Like, I think my track is pretty nice for this car because it allows it has like turns and counter turns and turns and counter turns. That means that when you get stuck to a wall, eventually there'll be an off turn that will force you to get off the wall. All right, let's continue. So you see there, like a little bit of understeering and oversteering, and the back kicking off. The problem for me being that I have to drive like super carefully in order not to touch anything at any point. I'm actually surprised because I'm doing quite a, I think I'm going, because I'm going super slow, I'm actually doing like a pretty good run. And the new tires actually did change a little bit. So I've been doing a little bit of handbrake on and off. So I'm gonna try and do the last 2 laps without any handbrake and do them as fast as I can. Give me a second, let me, oh, no. Go backwards, can I go backwards? Yes. All right, so no handbrake. Ooh, shit. Ah, God. So you can see here, like, I'm not even gonna try and go forwards, otherwise I'm gonna get stuck in that wall. And fully turning, yeah, I managed to get out. Oh dear, yeah, I'm stuck. And polishing more walls. And polishing more wall. Oh, I managed to get out there. So yeah, I think this new mode that they introduced recently is making the car run a lot better. But you know what? It feels more like an RC car now because the turns are a lot more linear, except when you head into a wall. Oh shit. Is this the last lap? I think so. Ooh, and I'm stuck. Okay. For me, that was a lot more realistic in terms of driving, but the we got super lucky now. I think because I was driving like just demo driving very slowly. Because if you're trying to push the car more and more, what's going to happen is you just get stuck always in the outer barriers. So the car might be pointing one way, and the crown wheels might be pointing a different way into that barrier. So even though you think you're going forward, actually the car is pushing into the wall, and that can be very frustrating at times. Um, Performed really well here. I think when you try to do that super subtle movements, like trying to go into the pits, the car doesn't like it very much because obviously the crown wheel doesn't want to be moving that slowly and turning at the same time because you're changing the central point of where the car is resting. But aside from that, like when you're racing, I really like this mode. Like the race mode with rally tires seems to be a lot better than all the other ones because the other modes, like every time you're running, you're just like half of the time you're just drifting around the corners. And to be honest, like with all the sims that I played and real life experience from driving cars fast, like that just doesn't happen unless you're going on a drift car. Every single turn you're turning in the race car, you're not skidding into the turn. That's not what happens in the real world. So I'm happy that they made this change for race. It made it a lot more realistic for race time. But I very much dislike the fact that you get stuck in those walls. It just like annoys me so much. Right. Sorry. We're gonna go. Oh, not this one. We're gonna go and test the race 143 race cars now. So, with these race cars, again, they don't work with throttle like the drift does yet, but that's the plan for the future. But they do work with steering wheel and throttle as a normal car would. So I'm just gonna put it here in the start finish line. And they can go super slowly or fast, but not too fast. So they're limited to a maximum speed that is quite equivalent to drift cars. Actually, I've raced online with a drift car, and it was like neck and neck. And I could just pass every now and again because they would make a mistake and get stuck in a wall, or I would just be able to cut the corners a little bit better. Okay, so you got the steering wheel, you got the car, and you got me on the side. All right, let's go for a drive. So 100% different than the Siku racing, because you can I don't know if it's because I just put more turning into mine or because of how good the servos are working, but you can actually control like which lane you're gonna go, and you can oversteer or understeer more to compensate if the car is going like way overboard or not. Oh, just a little bump there. So this to me feels more, even though I'm going a little bit fast because I've bumped the speed a little bit. It feels very realistic to me in how a car actually drives, like not drifting all the time completely. And obviously I can't change my head around. I can't look left or right, so unfortunately I can't get that drift feeling. Well, but I can, just then what I've done is just reduce the throttle a little bit so I can steer more into the corner, and I can I can go faster, I can cut corners a bit shorter. And the cool thing about this one is that I can do anything with it because I'm programming it, or I'm tapping into the RC that's sending commands to it. That means that I can program it to whatever extent I want to. I'm just controlling 2 servos on the car, really. And also it's a Ferrari. So it's gonna drive fast. Look at that turn there, beautiful. You see the cutting there? I managed to avoid that. But yeah, you can actually like do racing lines with this car and you feel like absolutely in control. Like there's no if, buts, or and. Like I can just go on the middle of the road in all the lines. If I can drive properly. Or I can choose a lane, like left lane, and drive only in the left lane, doing a little bit of racing line there. Or right lane. On the outside here. Cut a little bit short. Like the control and precision is absolutely unreal. I'm sorry, drift people, but I have more control over driving this car than I have in a drift car. Like the drift car is cool and all, and it has its realistic stuff on how it turns, but in terms of like practical control and like super hyper accuracy, like I can if this car would drift, I could make donuts around that building there. And this allows me to, well, I will hope that it will allow for people that eventually race with me to just have like sublime control. If all they need to do is having a steering wheel at home. But if you don't have a steering wheel, that's fine, because you can just as well play with your keyboard, or even connect a remote control. Like it doesn't matter. The website will take everything you want to. I don't know how many laps. Okay, this is last lap. I'm coming in. Like the amount of control I have over this is just insane. Sometimes I don't believe it. Maybe, sometimes you just do something right by luck and it just works. How cool is that, huh? I'm really happy with these cars. I'm really excited. Okay, so next we have the HD race car. Now this is a little bit different than the other ones because everything in the car is digital. So all the remote control is done through a website, and that website also has the FPV video from the car. So the video is HD, as I mentioned before, but it's actually quite good. Let me show you what it looks like. There you go. So you can see the website has the image of the car right there. It's a little bit tiny, but we can, like any website, we can just use scroll up to zoom in or zoom out. And here in the screen, you can actually see that we can change quite a lot of things. So we can change the maximum speed that the car is going to go. I like to keep it at the max just because it's easier to drive. This car is driven as well by using just a keyboard at this point. So obviously I aim to implement the same that's being used in the race ones, as in the driving joystick wheel. But at the moment it's only a keyboard. So you can see the max speed, steering trim. This is to make the car, if the car is like hanging a bit to the left or a bit to the left, you would just trim it here. Lights, you can turn the lights off completely or turn them fully on. You can go underneath the tunnel and I can show you that. And then the quality, you can, like if you're having a really bad connection, you can reduce the quality completely, or you can just bump it up along with the resolution. Unfortunately, because the board is so limited, it doesn't take like full HD resolution, but you can see the detail there on the right hand side of the BMW becomes quite a lot clearer, but everything becomes a lot slower to drive, and you can see like it gets very, very bumpy when you're driving it. But look at that view. So what I like to do is just reduce the quality a little bit, or you can improve on the resolution and then reduce the quality as well. But I noticed there's a little bit of delay there with the frames. So my best setting is actually like most quality and one slider off the resolution, and that's still pretty good. Turn the car around a little bit. Can go here to the start finish, and as I said before, this car is completely controlled just by using the arrow keys, so forward, backward, left, and right. So driving this feels a lot more like the Siku racing at the moment. But because anyone in the world could control this, that also means that you don't have to have a joystick or a game controller or whatever. You can just log into the website and use the keys to maneuver. So we're gonna go on a couple of laps. I'm just gonna zoom into the screen a little bit more so you get the whole HD perspective, and we're gonna go around. Oh, actually, what I can do is one of the cool things about this HD car is actually the lights. So I'm gonna put it here, and then if I turn the lights off, like that's darkness, on 1, 2, 3, look at that. You could flash someone in front of you to get out of the way. Alright, I'm gonna turn the lights just to the you could turn the lights off actually. Then we're gonna go around. Actually, turning the lights off makes the car a little bit better because it's draining less energy. So you saw there a little bit of lag. Obviously, this is over the internet that I'm controlling this car, and you can see it's trimming a little bit to the right. So I'm just gonna trim that back to the left. Hopefully, it will fix the turning. Yeah, much better. And now it's trimming a little bit to the left. There we go. That should be right on the spot. So as you can see, it's much slower than the other ones, but that's just because I've set the speed to be slower. So in the next lap, I'm going to increase the speed a little bit to the max. And trim should be there. And now you should be having the same type of speed that the other cars are having. Maybe a little bit less than the Ferrari, but for sure this will be easily able to compete with the drift cars. Ooh. But as you can see, the controls are very like lefty, lefty, righty, righty. we go. Ooh, that jump, bro. It's still extraordinarily fun to play with this, and just to think that, like right now it's me, obviously, but anyone can race this car now. That's just another world open, especially now in the pandemic, that people aren't able to. Oh, did a boo boo there. Reverse. Especially now during the pandemic, that people aren't able to socialize together, and something like this could, you don't have to come to my house to play. You can just log in. We can go to Discord and chat while we do some racing. Pulling a bit to the left. And aside from that small moment of latency that you have there, like all of the rest, I don't notice any latency going on for me. And I've had people playing, and they were getting to the point that they were getting very, very close to my analog race card. Oh, there was a little lag there. So as long as the antenna on the car, that's the primary thing that makes this go slower or to a crawling where the video doesn't even show. If the video antenna on the car is appropriate and connect to my router, then it's just like how fast your internet and my internet is. And as you can see right now, like all the turns are very, very similar to what the Siku racing was. But that's because whenever I'm pressing the right key, it just goes to the maximum of what the right key can do. Ooh. And what I want to is for you to be able to connect a joystick or whatever, and then the full range of maneuvering will be available to whoever wants to race. Not sure if there's 5 laps yet. Let's just do one more. Let's do one more. I'm gonna do something just for you, just for this car. Okay, it seems like we're getting ourselves a night race. So turn on those LEDs, and this is something that the other cars don't have. They don't have the possibility of having LEDs. Well, the race one obviously does, because you can just add something into there. But the other one, because you can't, there's no more channels to connect to, you can't really add lights that have variable voltage that allow to be like brighter or less bright. This is my night racing course. It's not all the lights are fixed yet into the right position, but they're close to. And watching this actually from above is quite the delight. Oh, a little bit of lag there. It always seems to be on that corner there. All right, so let's do a couple more laps, and you can also see like an overhead viewing of what the car looks like with all the four beams on, full beams on. I love it. It really does feel like you're driving in the night, and you can see like all the buildings and stuff around. So crazy. Ooh, a bit close there. And where am I? I actually lost. Oh, okay. I'm in the counter turn there. Then when it's night, it's much harder. And this is the last lap. I'm gonna finish there. And start finish line, and we're done. That's it. That's all the cars. What did you think? Which one did you like the most? Let me know in the comments. Was it the drift car? Was it the Siku car? Was it the race car or the race HD? Let me know in the comments which one you preferred, and maybe I will do another video on FPVing further those cars. Me personally, obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I'm the one that created this, the HD and the regular race. But I like those the most just because it gives me they're open source, right? They're fully 3D printed. All the code is done by me. That means I can modify everything. I can release it for other people to modify them the way that they want as well. So it's just it's limitless, right? So I can do whatever I aim to do with these type of cars. And while the Siku and the Drift ones are a little bit more close-minded. There's only so much that you can do. Like you can add some gadgets to it. You can add FPV. You can even very limitedly add other functions. I don't know. Maybe you could add lights on it just by placing lights connected to some sort of voltage. But you can't. You're very limited on other things that you can do. You can't change the way that they operate it. They operate because the system is closed. It's all programmed either in the remote control or in the app, and you only have access to very limited things. While with these cars, with the Race and the Race HD, it's code. Like you can do whatever you want with them. You can make the things that I want to do, which is as you're driving and you go faster and faster, it becomes harder to turn. So the turn is gonna decrease even if you're fully turning. If you're going too fast, it's going to decrease the amount that you're going to be able to turn, just because, like on a real car, if you're going too fast and you turn, it's either going to drift or it's either not going to turn properly because um, you're going to start sliding or rolling over. I'm not going to implement rolling over, but definitely turning and the proportional type throttle. Like, when you push the gas, the car doesn't just go all of a sudden. It starts going slowly. And the same thing, if you let go of the throttle, the car will start stopping slowly as well. And it will stop faster if you hit the brakes, obviously. I'm not sure. I probably won't implement anything like a handbrake or anything like that, at least for now. But yeah, I just want to be able to race with 4 friends on my loft or whatever on their houses online without for fun, right? That's the only reason that I do this crazy things and this crazy politics. Now, hopefully you did as well watching this video. So if you did, thanks. Come back. There's more videos hopefully soon. I'm not no guarantees. My life is pretty hectic. But yeah, I will see you on the next time in the flippity. Bye bye.